What were the thoughts of those around you? Because ideally, you were working for Dangote. You want to quit Dangote. Did you ever get that?
Of course, my father couldn't understand it. My father this is my dad who's very conservative, who didn't want me to leave IFC in Washington to go to Nigeria to work for this unknown business person he had never heard of. He was like, how could you do it? You're leaving your pension, all these stories. But then when I went to Nigeria, then he met him and they saw the business. And then he asked me, how can you leave? And why are you, there's no need for you to come home. And they were very, you'd been away for so long. Why would you want to come home? You're doing very well where you were. And so it was very, very much of a struggle to convince people. And actually people just thought, give her some time. She'll go back anyway, right? Yeah, I'm still here. And you know what? In hindsight, I think it was great that I came back because remember, I hadn't lived here as an adult, a working adult. I had left so many years ago. And now the benefit of being here, imagine supporting the building of this country, providing jobs. We're so proud of it. I'm so proud of Java and the people that I work with. So proud. And that would not have been my story had I stayed, right? Very different story, but it's such an important story.
There are some people who are in jobs and are contemplating going into business. In Zambia, it's very common that you've got people who are in full-time employment and they have a farm that they visit over the weekend. And for most of them, they think about transitioning. But the idea that what if it fails, really just draws them back. How did you deal with that? The idea of what if this fails? Where do I go? I've never worked in Zambia. Where do I pick up from here?
So first of all, my point about, and you're absolutely right, there are many ways to skin a cat. So many ways to start your own business. It's absolutely nothing wrong with having a side hustle, right? Many, many people do that until they feel that the side hustle has become the main hustle, that it can look after them fairly well. And remember, people's circumstances are different. So to ask someone to do sort of cold turkey and start a business when they have maybe loans to pay off or they've got children in school and there are other circumstances, it's absolutely fine to have a side hustle. But for myself personally, I had saved up some money. I've kept in contact with a lot of people I used to work with. And I thought, well, if it did fail, these were the options available to me. It might have meant I would have to leave the country again, but I felt that I was young enough to do so. I felt that I could take this risk. So I thought, well, 2 or 3 years, if it doesn't work out, then I know I'm dusting off the CV once again, but looking for something much more interesting to do. So, and even if the Dangote opportunity represented itself, absolutely would go back, right? I think we have such a great relationship that if I really, really needed a job, I think I could get one.
You go back.
Yes.
And so in your 6 months of leave, by the time the 6 months was elapsing, had you started Java Foods?
So I started the concept. So I'd done the DD, speaking to suppliers. So I did all the homework I needed and then started Java Foods. So started in October 2012, but I had been on leave the beginning of the year, basically.
Okay, so you extended your leave.
Yeah. It wasn't leave. I literally left. So I did not have a job when I had resigned. So I was not on a salary in the 6 to 7 months that I was sitting around. But again, I planned it so that I could be able to still feed